Look at that go!
On this episode of Northwest Outdoors.
Early morning sun on that fish. Big chrome streak in the water. It's what we all dream about.
Fishing host Hobart Mans heads to British Columbia, Canada and visits St. John's Fishing Lodge. There, the Chinook salmon fishing is some of the best in the world. Also, learn how to make smoked salmon appetizers. This is your Northwest Outdoors.
It's very quick, very simple to make.
Funding for Northwest Outdoors is made possible in part by Kershaw Knives of Portland, Oregon, makers of precision tools and cutlery. Kershaw Knives strongly supports outdoor programming as well as responsible outdoor activities throughout the Pacific Northwest. And by Subaru, engineered and designed for all types of activities in the great outdoors. The craftsmen and women that repair and supply parts for Subaru West believe that enjoyment of the Pacific Northwest should be available to everyone. And by alltrek.com. Alltrek provides high-performance clothing and gear for every outdoor experience, including paddling, camping, hiking, climbing, and more. Information can be found online at alltrek.com.
Whether it's the breathtaking scenery or abundant wildlife, the west coast of Canada's British Columbia is something to behold. Northwest Outdoors is here visiting St. John's Fishing Lodge, looking for Chinook and silver salmon. From late May through the end of July, the protected waters of Surf Inlet provide plenty of sport fishing for salmon, halibut, and bottom fish. Northwest Outdoors fishing host Hobart Mans and St. John's' Pat Dean are trolling with downriggers while hugging the coast of western BC. St. John's is located some 400 miles north of the city of Vancouver in Camino Sound and is accessible only by boat or float plane. This lodge is unique due to the fact that it is a refurbished BC ferry that has been transformed into a floating fishing lodge. When guests arrive here, they experience something else unique, self-guided fishing.
I noticed that you really don't have guides, you have instructors. There's a difference, isn't there?
We have 7 instructors on staff. Instead of being fully guided, what we do with the guests when they come in the orientation, we show them how to operate everything in the boat, and then we take the more experienced people and let them go on their own, the people that have been up here before, and the people that haven't been up here before. We go on a boat with them. There's 7 of us. We all go out for 3 or 4 or 5 hours, depending on the experience of the people. Make sure they're comfortable with the equipment and the fishing aspect of the whole situation. A lot of people come up and fish. They don't want to be pampered. They want to go out and fish on their own, and it's much more of a thrill for a guest at St. John's to go out and do it themselves, and they feel they've accomplished a lot more than having a guide set the hook for them and bait their hooks and everything.
It's like having your own equipment up here. It's like coming to a facility and having a $30,000 boat, piece of equipment, and you can go do or any place you want within eyesight, safety factor.
The only really rule that we have is that our boats travel in pairs just in case of anything, an emergency. That way there's somebody there to back them up. That's the only real rule that we have.
What do you got on, Pat?
I don't know. It looks like a rock cod maybe.
Picked up something.
But
on
it's
that
swimming.
corner.
But it's swimming.
It's swimming.
It must be a little salmon. Must be a little salmon. Oh, look at that.
Little. Looks like a silver. Crazy. Who said you couldn't catch fish?
Oh yeah, they're so fun. Looks like a little pink or a coho. Coho. It's a beautiful coho. At this time of year, they're like 6 to 9 pounds.
My turn, Pat. See if I can knock that off the net for
Okay. That's a nice little coho.
you. They're crazy. Anyway, crazy. You gonna lead him up?
Look, isn't that nice in the water? Look how pretty he is in the
Yes,
water.
he is.
Ah. There you go. One little silver. This is an average coho for this size here, or silver. They grow approximately about a pound a week after this. By the time August rolls around, they're running 15 to 25 pounds.
And that white gum line is the quick giveaway.
White top gum line, yeah.
Nice fish.
Nice fish.
Very great fish, actually.
We use herring and hoochies up here with flashers, or herring on a cut plug thing. This is the way I like to cut them myself. I do it straight down to the backbone, and then I turn my knife to this way and this way, 2 different angles, and come across, so you got a flat cut and your 2 different angles. Knife down, inside, twist it and out it comes like a popsicle. Just to hook it up, all I do is take the tow hook. There's a tow hook and a trailer hook on a mooching rig. I go right on the lateral line of the herring through the backbone. Take the tow hook or the trailer hook, put it in under the skin, roll it, pull it through, and stick the hook back in. Then it goes into the water.
St. John's Chinookie, we hope-y. Come on, baby, keep cooking. Keep cooking. Keep that up. They're going to make an awful lot of runs out there before we're going to get a look at him. He hasn't even decided to get mad yet, Pat.
No, I
Some
just
head
saw him
shaking.
tapping on it there. There he
Might
is.
be a silver. Came to the surface awful quick.
No, that's king, I think. That's king. That's beauty. Let me get this one out of the water. Take your time with him, Hobie.
Keep him away from that side. You got the gear clear over there?
No, I'm not yet.
Okay.
I gotta get this one out of the water.
Big fish.
Huh?
He's a good fish. 20, 25.
Here.
Come on, baby. We don't want to. I can see you sulking down there, and I know that you're going to get sunlight in your eyes, and you're not going to like me here in a minute. Oh. Keep that rod up. See, that's what we said he was going to do. There he goes. I think he saw you getting that net out there, Pat. He decided to leave us for a moment or two. Keeps his rod up, keeps some pressure on him. I just love these single action reels too. You get more fish, a lot more fun with these fish if you're using the single action reels, those long rods. Just no problem. A lot more control. You get to play the fish a lot longer. Oh, he went down. He got a little sunlight. Yeah, you just thought he was coming up, didn't you? Oh,
Try to keep this guy on this side.
isn't he beautiful?
Oh,
in
look
the
at
water?
that purple color in his back.
Yes, just
That's a nice
gorgeous.
fresh fish.
Just gorgeous.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to pull him up here, and I'll try and lead him to you on one pass, unless he decides to go
Oh,
again.
he's gonna go. He's pretty fresh still.
Here we go. I'm going to bring him in. Go ahead and get him,
Now
Pat.
right now.
Got
there
it.
you go. He's in this net.
It is fine. Just fine.
That's about a 20-pound fish.
Yeah. But you know what? It's a St. John Chinook. And I
Thank
love
you.
it.
Thank you, Hobart.
We've been working hard for that baby.
Hey, that's a
But
good
we're going
size.
to get some more.
You bet.
That is what we wanted. Look at the bright, shiny colors on that fish. Pat, this is what you invited us up here to enjoy, was the St. John Chinook, and there's the first one of the day.
They're beautiful fish.
They are.
good fighting
Real-
fish.
Real chromers.
Yeah. Nice
And we're
for-
going to capture a couple, 3 more,
We are.
because fish like this just make me excited as can be. You want to see a little kid? That's me with big fish.
You did a great job, Hobart. Thank you very much.
Because St. John's Lodge is a boat, it is able to fish different parts of the coast when the fish move. Half the season it is moored here in Camino Sound. It then moves south 50 miles to Millbank Sound, where it finishes off the fishing season.
The lodge itself was originally built as a BC ferry to transport cars and people from the mainland to the Gulf Islands. It was too large for that. It was built in 1962. And so they tried to use it from Vancouver to Vancouver Island, which it came out that the ferry itself was too small for that, so they decided to mothball it. And then 3 fishermen decided to buy it and turn it into a fishing lodge. They hired a bunch of carpenters, and they were very handy themselves, and they did all the work, and they tried it out for 5 years, and they weren't successful at it, so the owner today purchased it, and we've made a lucrative business out of it.
And a lot of renovations.
A lot of renovations. There's a ton of renovations that have been done on the ship itself. It took a lot of time. They turned the whole car deck into staterooms, which is beautiful. Every stateroom has ensuite plumbing. You have your own shower, your own toilet, your two beds in a room. They're very comfortable. The upstairs itself has been turned around. We've done a lot of oak paneling to get away from, to make it the lodge atmosphere. We have nice mounts on the walls.
I have the feeling, the impression while I'm on the ship that I could indeed be on a cruise ship. It has a lot of the amenities, and when you're on the decks and the social life, after the hours that you fish, you have this feeling of a cruise ship.
We have 22 staff to service 48 guests at St. John's. The atmosphere that we like to keep here at the lodge is to keep everybody smiling. All of our staff are happy. We have an exciting bar.
At times, yes,
At
very
times
exciting.
we do. It's an exciting. Our bartender is very talented.
Fishing lodges are famous for their food, and this lodge is no different. Hobart visits the kitchen for a delicious appetizer.
We're here with Chef Randy Peterson from St. John's Lodge, and Randy, you've had the opportunity to cook in some rather remarkable places.
Well, yeah, I've been doing this now for 30 years, and I've worked in everything from fast food to hospitals to golf courses, and right now, the fishing lodge, and in the winter, I'm up in the oil fields in northern Canada.
And you also were telling us that you had cooked for a diamond mine in Canada?
Oh yeah, up in the Northwest Territories.
I don't think many people realize that Canada does have an extensive diamond mine.
Actually, they do. They have a couple of them going on up there. This was one of the first ones that opened up. It's a place called Acadie. And at the time, it was 850 people that we had working there.
Now, that's a pretty big group to cook for every day, 3 times a day.
Yeah, it does. It makes it rather interesting and for a long and busy day.
Well, here at St. John's, you've got a couple of house specialties, and one of them you're going to show us today, and what is it?
Well, it's a smoked salmon canapé that we give everybody on our appetizer plates in the evening. First of all, we have a baguette, and then we'll use lock-style smoked salmon. And on the baguette, we'll use a base of cream cheese, capers, red onions, dill, and lemon juice.
And you're going to combine these ingredients with cream cheese?
Yes, I will. I'll make a spread with that. And first of all, we have to take the baguette and slice it on an angle and then lightly toast it in the oven.
Which you've done to these that I'll bring around for you here.
Make it a little bit easier.
And you've sliced and toasted the baguette in these little...
Yeah, you want to make them about 3/4 of an inch thick.
Okay.
And you don't want to over toast them so that they're too crunchy. You want them toasty with still slightly
Biteable
soft-centered.
but
Yes,
crunchy.
that's right.
Now you're going to do the combination of ingredients here.
You need to let your cream cheese sit out a little while so that it can get soft. Then you just want to break it up. This can be done, of course, in a food processor if you have it, but...
And it can also be done a couple days ahead of
oh
time,
yeah,
too.
definitely. We usually make up a fairly large quantity of it and keep it on hand so that we're not doing it every day.
Right. You have to feed usually about 50 to 100 people a day.
Usually, we will have anywhere from 48 to 56 guests, and then I have 23 staff that I have to feed as well. So we're looking at 75 to 80 people a day.
That's a formidable amount of food to make sure that you've got taken care of in advance.
Keeps us busy.
So you're combining capers here.
Yeah, this is 3 tablespoons of finely chopped capers.
Going to work those in, and like all things, you are the food processor.
I am the food processor.
There you go.
And then we have a tablespoon and a half of finely chopped red onion.
In your work of this sort of thing each day, when you say you make a batch for the future, you're not doing the combination of the amount we see here. You're really doing several pounds at a time, so that you're prepared ahead for a week or 2 weeks or something.
Yeah, there's not enough hours in the day to keep doing everything over and over. So the few things that we can get together and get done in advance definitely makes our load a little bit easier.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm going to add the dill to it.
Yes.
Right now I'm just using a tablespoon of dried dill. Much nicer if you have the fresh stuff, but we only bring it in as we need it.
And you're talking about bringing it in while you're combining that. You told us earlier in conversations that you brought in like 18 tons of food ahead of time.
Well, that's what we started the season with. That's most of our canned goods. The majority of our meat, a lot of the frozen stuff that we can bring in, because all of our guests fly in on planes and there is limited amount of space on the planes, so we have to reserve that for just our fresh produce and dairy. So the food that we get is basically supposed to last us for the majority of the season.
That's kind of interesting because it's got to be a really massive planning effort, almost a military event.
Well, yeah, it does. You spend a lot of time going over what you did last year and figuring out how many more people you're going to have this year, and then trying to figure out if you get it right. It's a lot of planning and really good guessing.
The guessing part I understand. I really do.
I'll just add a little bit of a tablespoon of lemon juice.
Now you've got your locks here, and that's always a trick to slice and to get it thin. How in the world do you manage that every time?
Well, you need a very, very sharp knife, and it's much better if it's been chilled for a while and not left out to room temperature. And you really want to take a firm hold of your salmon and just get it. You want to make it a little bit less than 1/4 of an inch thick.
You're just barely moving that knife along. You're easing it through. You're not really slicing and dicing.
It's fairly sharp. So,
which of the red meated fishes do we have here?
This is steelhead.
Okay.
And you need to use lock style as opposed to the dry smoked, because the dry smoked is not nearly as supple or easy to use as this one is.
So we're going to take the locks that you have here.
Yeah.
And the next step would be you've got them in a tray here where we could use the whole assembly line over here. And we would now coat the...
Now what you do is just take some of your cheese mixture and spread it evenly over your piece of baguette. And then we take our locks and place that on our baguette.
And to this you would add some garnish?
Well, normally what I would do is I have a little piping bag full of mayonnaise, and I would just put a little star on there and then garnish it with a piece of parsley and do up a tray of them and send them out. It's very quick and very simple to make.
That is a really superior looking tray.
Areas of low cloud and fog, otherwise mainly sunny. Winds northerly 15 to 25 knots.
Another nice day forecast for fishing on Camino Sound. Guide Pat Dean, better known as Chief, and Hobart are up early for the morning bite. It wasn't long before the cut plug herring had a big hit.
There, we knew he wouldn't like that sun pretty soon, didn't we? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. He changed his mind there, Pat.
Huh?
He changed his mind. He got a little sunlight and saw that boat.
Yeah.
Then you went after that bag. That fish decided to get a little serious about, I want out of here. Oh, it's catch-up time. Catch-up time. You took us across the straits here and brought us over to, I think you said it was Alexander Island that we've dropped in below.
Yeah, we're fishing the bottom end of Alexandra.
Man, that fish took off. There he goes again. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, and away. The water was calm just long enough for him to get on. That's what it was. Oh, come on.
You're doing a great
Hey.
job. Catch up on him, buddy.
Yes. Oh, come on, Hat. Get up there.
Doing a good job. Over.
Yeah, too
There's
much
way,
scoped
way
out.
out there, yeah.
And we had him up here when we first hooked him. He was up here to the boat to see what the heck we were. And these are barbless hooks too. You do have to keep a little bit of constant pressure on that fish. Now he's running back up on the surface again. We can see our marker beads. He'll probably see the boat again and decide.
Oh, that's
"I
a
want
nice
out of
fish.
here."
That's a beautiful fish.
Yes, it is. There are no fish that are not beautiful. Big, little, small, fat, ugly, but they're all beautiful. Look at that.
This is
Look
when it's
at
good
that
fun.
go.
Look at him right on the surface. He's just giving her. There he goes. There he is.
Boy, it just drives me nuts when they get slack and start running the boat and you can't keep up with them.
That's a good fun fish. Good fun fish.
Come on. Did you wave that bag at him again?
I did. It's 10 to 7 in the morning here. We left the dock at about 4:45.
Yeah?
We watched a couple of nice kings being caught already. Tide's ebbing so hard.
That fish is pretty darn green, man. I
He's
figured
tough.
If everybody were to catch these salmon on this mooching gear, this light gear of this nature, they'd suddenly change their
Look at
minds
him.
about how
That's
good
nice.
these fish really are.
He's got life left in him still.
Yeah, he's not through yet.
No.
I don't know that he's all that big for weight, but he's certainly that big for strong.
He's girthy. He's not that long, but he's got a lot of girth. Look at that.
I think we can put him in the bag here, Pat.
Okay.
Gonna have to be careful. You want me to
I
come
need
back
you
here and
to
lead
go
him to you up
back a
here?
little bit and
Okay.
lead him to me up
I
here.
gotta get around this knob on the boat here. No, don't do that.
Oh, he's still green. Let him go again.
He's still sulking. Oh boy. Come on, baby. Look at that color in the water out there. It's just gorgeous. Early morning sun on that fish. It's what we all dream about. It's what we come to Canada for.
The big buck.
And you said St. John's would deliver, and they did. Oh,
There you go. Way to go. Nice job, Hobart.
it's a lot of work, but I don't mind working.
Here you go, buddy. Thank you.
Pat, is this an average fish for up here?
No, it's a little, this one's a little smaller than average. Normally they run around 20 to 40 pounds. They're a good fighting fish. They're heading for the Kitimat River, the majority of them.
You're making me feel bad, man. That fish
Well,
went like
hey,
mad.
it does. This is a good, that was a nice fight, that one.
Yeah, he did put up a noble effort. There's no doubt about it. But I have seen, as you have, the fish that have come in this week have been consistently this size uphill.
Yes, yeah, and this is just the beginning of the run. We're here on June the 14th.
Something like that.
Yeah, and it's this is the beginning of the run. So this run normally runs from now until about the middle of July.
Because these fish on that mooching gear absolutely are the biggest hoot of any way that you can catch salmon. I don't care where you go or what you do. Mooching reel, those long limber rods, it's like putting a monster on a fly rod.
Well, it is. The 10.5-foot mooching rod is a nice limber rod. You get lots of good action out of it. And learning how to use the single action, it's just like a fly reel. It's very simple. All of our instructors walk everybody through it, and it's a lot of fun.
The thrill of landing a large salmon is an experience all anglers should enjoy. On the west coast of BC, with its coastal beauty and wildlife, it can add up to the experience of a lifetime. Here at St. John's in Camino Sound, there's more catching than meets the eye. Besides 4 species of salmon in the area, there is many other species of fish that can make for excellent sport fishing.
go. Come on, baby.
He's running. There's
Cool. A silver.
it's a silver.
And you can tell they're on the surface.
In this area in Camano Sound here, we have Chinook salmon, we have silver salmon, and we have pinks, and we have chums.
No idea unless he was. You also offer bottom fish, and not many places encourage bottom fish.
We have quite an abundance of halibut, rock cod, black sea bass, brown sea bass, lingcod. You see a lot of eagles, a lot of wolves, deer, bears. It's a lot of wildlife to be seen. The scenery is unbelievable here.
Check out Northwest Outdoors online to learn more about this episode, number 1604. On the next Northwest Outdoors, head to Hell's Canyon in Idaho for some big sturgeon.
Very good. Very good. Coming up. Come up, jump right here. Oh my God. Oh. Oh my God. My gosh. My golly.
Hobart cooks up salmon with pesto at the Seafood School in Astoria, Oregon. And Silverdale, Washington artist Ron Hinshaw cuts, grinds, and burns his way to beautiful artwork. That's on the next Northwest Outdoors.
Funding for Northwest Outdoors